Jim Carrey mocked Caroline Leavitt with a painting calling her a puppet, but in minutes she turned his stage into her victory with one word: truth. The American Pulse studio glows with blazing lights, the audience split between fiery red MAGA hats and glittering Hollywood banners. Caroline Leavitt, the youngest White House press secretary in history, steps out, elegant in a green suit, eyes sharp as a blade. Across from her, Jim Carrey, comedy legend and painter, smirks, his gaze dripping with sarcasm. Before diving into the story column, where you're watching from, and don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the latest stories. Last week, Carrey posted a caricature on X, Trump as a clown king, Leavitt as a tweeting puppet. The post enraged MAGA, and Leavitt chose to confront him. To defend her honor, she accepted the talk show invite, ready to throw a punch. Carrey begins, voice steely, "Your paintings call us a circus, but the truth isn't as colorful as your strokes." Magic cheers drown the room, cameras catching Leavitt's hands clenching tight. Carrey steps to the podium, raising his iPad like a victory flag. "Miss Leavitt," he says, voice low and dramatic, "you call my art cheap? Let me show you art that speaks what the White House hides." The big screen lights up, revealing a new drawing, a chaotic maze, Trump at the center, phone in hand, surrounded by blindfolded MAGA crowds. Leavitt appears tiny in the corner, a speech bubble saying, "Tweet, this is your America." Carrey points at the painting, "A maze of lies, and you're the blind guide." Hollywood claps wildly, someone shouts, "That's right, Jim," but MAGA roars back, a young man raising a fist, "Lies." Leavitt sits upright, hands lightly on the table, eyes locked on Carrey. She doesn't smile, but her lips twitch slightly. Carrey, sensing the tense silence, pushes harder. "Miss Caroline, you defend a president who only divides. He's turned America into a reality show, and you're the slogan shouter." He turns to the audience, voice mock serious. "Who wants to see the new episode of Trump's Chaos?" Hollywood laughs loudly, but MAGA fumes, a woman yelling, "Shut up, Carrey!" The host raises a hand, trying to restore order. "Everyone calm down. Let Miss Leavitt speak." Carrey doesn't stop. He steps closer to Leavitt, pointing directly at her. "You say I don't know the truth. I paint what Americans see. A failed leader dragging the country into the mud. You, young lady, think you can save him with a few sound bites." He spreads his arms, inviting the audience. "Who wants this White House to wake up? Who wants truth beyond my paintings?" Hollywood cheers loudly, but MAGA drowns them out, boos shaking the room. In Carrey's mind, thoughts race. She's tough, but I'm the stage master. He recalls times he left audiences in stitches. One more jab and she'll crack. He smiles, voice lowering. "Caroline, I don't hate you. You're smart, with a future. But why pick Team MAGA? Ditch Trump and Hollywood will give you a better script." Hollywood laughs uproariously. Someone yells, "Starring role!" But MAGA roars, a man holding up a phone. "She's stronger than you." Leavitt lifts her head, hands relaxed, voice calm but cutting like a sword. "Mr. Carrey, you call that truth? I see a man painting for laughs, not unity." The words hit like an arrow. The room silent for a second before MAGA erupts, applause drowning out boos. Carrey opens his mouth, but Leavitt raises a hand, signaling stop. "I'm not done," she says, eyes piercing. "You mock Americans who believe in us. That's not art. It's arrogance." MAGA cheers. Someone shouts, "Caroline's right." Carrey freezes, hand running through his hair, smile stiffening. The host jumps in, voice excited. "Mr. Carrey, Miss Leavitt just called your art arrogant. How do you respond?" Carrey takes a deep breath, eyes flashing with anger mixed with confusion. She's turning the tables, he thinks, feeling the stage tilt toward Leavitt. He glances at the painting on the screen, the chaotic maze still glowing. For the first time, Carrey wonders if he underestimated his opponent. "Arrogant?" Carrey retorts, voice rising, pointing at Leavitt. "Miss Caroline, I paint to expose what you hide behind polished words. People don't need slogans, they need light." Carrey steps forward, eyes blazing. "You say I divide? I show them an America manipulated by empty promises." The room shakes after Jim Carrey's attack. Stage lights burn hot, Hollywood still clapping, but MAGA's shouts grow fiercer, drowning out laughter. Carrey, by the podium, smirk intact, but eyes flickering with doubt. The maze painting still glows on the big screen. Trump with his phone, Levitt tiny in the corner. Yet Caroline Levitt isn't overshadowed. She sits tall, hands relaxed, eyes like a blade locked on Carrie, ready to flip the game. The host, sensing the tension like a taut string, turns to Levitt. "Miss Caroline, Mr. Carey just called the White House a maze of lies. How do you counter?" The audience falls silent, waiting. Levitt stands, green dress shimmering under the lights, voice calm but razor sharp. "Carey," she starts, pointing at the painting, "you draw America as a maze, but who's really leading us astray?" She pauses, eyes sweeping the room, then locking on him. "You call those who believe in us blind. I call them patriots fighting for the American dream." MAGA explodes, applause like thunder, someone waving a sign. "Caroline speaks truth." Hollywood boos, but it's weaker, overtaken. Carey opens his mouth, trying to cut in. "Miss Levitt, the American dream? That's the nightmare Trump created." Levitt raises a hand, signaling stop, her voice sharper. "You talk of nightmares, look at your art. You paint to mock, to divide, then call it truth." She steps closer to the podium, pointing at Carey. "Truth isn't in your brushstrokes. It's in Americans who rise daily despite Hollywood's insults." The room quakes, MAGA chanting, "Caroline, Caroline." Carey, feeling the pressure from MAGA's cheers, tries to regain control. "Miss Caroline, you talk of patriotism. Patriots don't back a president turning the White House into a joke." He turns to the audience, voice mock sorrowful. "I paint because I love America, because I want it to wake up before it's too late." Hollywood claps, but MAGA yells, "Bull." A man raises a fist. "You're the joke." Carey smirks, trying to stay confident, but his hand trembles slightly, eyes scanning Levitt for weakness. Levitt gives him no chance. "Love America, Mr. Carey?" she asks, voice low but piercing. "Then why insult millions who chose our path? You call them blind, but I see them clearer than your paintings." She pauses, eyes cutting through. "You don't paint truth. You paint your ego." The room goes quiet for a second, then MAGA erupts, applause crashing like waves. Hollywood tries to boo, but it fades. In Carey's mind, a wave of doubt surges. She's turning the crowd. He recalls his caricatures, cheered wildly, but now, facing Levitt, he feels like a supporting actor. "I need to hit harder," he tells himself, gripping the iPad. He steps forward, voice softening, feigning empathy. "Caroline, I don't want to fight. You're young, you can do more. Why not leave MAGA, do what's right for America?" He winks at Hollywood, expecting laughs, but only a few respond. MAGA roars, "She's wiser than you?" Levitt smiles faintly, eyes never leaving Carey. "Do what's right," she asks, voice slicing. "I'm here for the people, not cheap laughs. You're the one who needs to wake up, Mr. Carey." MAGA claps wildly, someone filming the moment. Carey opens his mouth, but no words come. Jim Carrey's chaotic maze painting still glows on the big screen, but its shine dims before Caroline Levitt's sharp counter. Carey stands by the podium, gripping the iPad, his sarcastic smile now a mask hiding unease. Levitt sits tall, eyes locked on her opponent, lips slightly curved, as if she knows Carey's boxing himself in. Carey's animated video, Trump spitting fire, MAGA flags burning, still glows on the big screen, but its glory fades before Levitt's counterattack. The host, feeling the drama hit its peak, turns to Carey. "Mr. Carey, Miss Levitt just said you ignore the people. How do you respond?" The audience hushes, MAGA waving truth matters signs, Hollywood whispering support. Carey takes a deep breath, steps closer to Levitt, voice rising, almost a growl. "Miss Caroline," he points at her, "you say I don't see the people I paint to protect them from your White House, a fake prism full of lies." He turns to the audience, arms wide, pleading, "Who wants America trapped in MAGA's drama? Who wants Miss Levitt to keep painting Hollywood erupts, clapping wildly. Someone yells, "That's right, Jim." MAGA roars back, "You're washed up." Carey doesn't stop. He swipes the iPad, the big screen shifting to a new image, a still painting, Levitt on the White House podium, holding a mic. her face hidden by a mask with a fake smile. "Miss Caroline," he says, voice low and dramatic, "you call me arrogant? Look at yourself. A young actress hiding truth behind White House glamour?" He turns to the audience, voice mock empathetic. "I don't blame you, Caroline. Youth gets swept up in big promises, but the people deserve more than a play." Hollywood roars, a woman shouting, "Jim speaks truth!" MAGA rages, someone raising a fist, "Lies!" The camera pans to Levitt, her eyes flashing cold, but she stays silent, as if waiting. In Carrie's mind, confidence surges. She can't counter this time. He recalls crowds cheering his art, and now, with the mask painting, he believes he's hit Levitt's weakness. One more blow and she's down, he tells himself, smile widening, eyes blazing. Leavitt stands, green dress shimmering, eyes locked on Carrie. She raises a hand, signaling silence. The room instantly still, drawn into the void. "Mr. Carey," she says, voice slow and firm. "You talk of truth?" She pauses, eyes sweeping the crowd, then locking on him. Levitt steps forward, pointing at the mask painting. "Truth is what you forgot when you painted masks to divide. Truth is the American people, who you call dreamers, fighting for this country. Truth isn't Hollywood's punchline." MAGA erupts, standing to cheer, someone holding up a phone. "Caroline's unstoppable!" Hollywood freezes, stunned. Carrie staggers, mouth open but speechless. "Truth," he stammers, hands gripping the iPad until his knuckles whiten. "You! What are you saying? I show them the truth." But his voice falters, like a whisper in the wind. Levitt smiles faintly, eyes piercing. "No, Mr. Carey," she says, voice low but sharp as a blade. "Truth is, you lost yourself in the stage lights." The room quakes, MAGA chanting, "Truth, truth!" The camera zooms on Carey, eyes darting, smile gone. He's lost it. The mask painting on the screen now seems to reflect him, not Levitt. In Carey's mind, panic surges. She's made me the fool. He recalls Hollywood's applause moments ago, but now, before Levitt, he's a puppet with cut strings. "I have to respond," he tells himself, but his mind's blank. He opens his mouth, voice trembling. You're wrong, I expose." But MAGA laughs loudly, someone shouting, "Expose what?" Carey stands frozen, eyes lost like a painting fallen from its frame. In Levitt's mind, victory swells. "He thought a mask would shake me." She recalls times the media tried to tear her down, but truth outshines every stroke. She looks at Carey, her gaze no longer a blade but a light, exposing undeniable truth. She knows the room is hers, yet stays calm, letting Carey unravel. The host jumps in, voice stunned. "Wow, Miss Levitt just landed a knockout. Mr. Carey, anything to say?" Carey takes a deep breath, forcing a smile, but it's a crooked grimace. You're good," he mutters, hands dropping the iPad, eyes adrift. MAGA claps wildly. Hollywood silent, conceding defeat. Levitt knows Carey's lost, not just to her, but to millions he mocked. She whispers to herself, truth isn't just a word, it's power. The room still shakes, MAGA's truth echoing like a fire Levitt lit, burning Carey's arrogant art to ash. She looks at him, eyes no longer challenging but certain. Truth has won. Across from her, Jim Carey stands silent, hands dropping the iPad, eyes lost like an actor forgetting his lines. The animated video on the big screen is off, but Levitt's truth, fired like a bullet felling Carey, still burns in the audience's minds. The host, voice trembling with excitement, wraps up. "Miss Levitt just shook the studio. Thank you both. We'll be back." MAGA stands clapping relentlessly, while Hollywood quietly leaves, accepting defeat. As the backstage door closes, a media storm erupts. The talk show clip hits social platforms instantly, headlines screaming, "Levitt destroys Carey with one word." Within hours, the clip spreads across Instagram, TikTok, and X, racking up millions of views. Levitt's truth moment is cut into a short video, flooding everywhere. Comments pour in. "Caroline's the MAGA queen, and Carey's done." A MAGA fan on TikTok posts a reenactment mimicking Levitt's raised hand captioned, "Truth lands a knockout. Hollywood fans try to fight back," writing, "Jim just wanted to save America." But they're drowned by Levitt's wave. Memes emerge. Carrie stammering, text reading, "When truth hits you hard," flooding X and Instagram. On X, Truth by Levitt hits #1 in an hour. MAGA users post Levitt's raised hand, captioning, "Gen Z made history." One writes, "Caroline said truth, and Carrie crumbled." That's MAGA power. Carrie meltdown trends too, with memes of Carrie running his hand through his hair, eyes lost. Next to, "When you think you're a star but get crushed by one word." A MAGA user posts, "Hollywood 0, White House 1. Carrie fans try to counter, one writing, "Jim just spoke truth, MAGA's too sensitive." But it gets few likes, buried by thousands of Levitt retweets. On Truth Social posts briefly, "Caroline Levitt just taught Hollywood a lesson. Truth is the strongest weapon. Great job." It's retweeted millions of times with comments, "President's right," and "Caroline's MAGA pride." A MAGA TikToker claiming to be Levitt's fan posts a dance video with text, "Truth, truth, Caroline's unstoppable." The video spreads from X to Instagram, turning truth into a new slogan. Some neutral accounts join, writing, "Whoever you like, Levitt sharp, no doubt." X becomes a battlefield, with Truth by Levitt dominating every debate. Carrie, back at his hotel, sits before his laptop, eyes empty. He opens X, sees Carrie meltdown trending, heart sinking. He types a tweet, "I misunderstood. I paint for America, not to divide." Instantly, hundreds of MAGA comments flood in. "Misunderstood, truth said it all, and sit down, Jim." A meme pops up. Carrie, stunned, text reading, "Truth greater than Hollywood." Carrie deletes the tweet, hands trembling slightly, eyes lost in space. He thinks of the stage where Levitt turned him into a punchline with one word. "I underestimated her," he tells himself, feeling Hollywood's lights now alien. Levitt in the backstage green room checks her phone. Messages from the White House team flood in. "You did it, Caroline." An aide sends a meme of Carrie stammering, and she laughs, but her eyes stay sharp. She opens X, sees "Truth by Levitt ruling," thousands of posts calling her Gen Z's warrior. One writes, "Caroline said truth, and the nation heard. She's the future." She smiles, replying briefly, "Thank you all. Truth will always win." The post gets 1 million likes, cementing her status. MAGA keeps the wave going. A fan group posts a video on Instagram, reenacting the truth moment. Levitt raising her hand, Carrie collapsing. It grabs thousands of shares, comments saying, "Caroline's iconic." A TikToker mimics Carrie stammering, "Truth, what's truth?" with "Truth by Levitt." Hollywood fans try to push back, one posting, "Carrie just wanted to warn, Levitt too aggressive," but it's buried by MAGA memes. Levitt with a crown, text reading, "Queen of Truth." Media jumps in. Fox News runs a headline, "Levitt knocks out Carrie with one word." A commentator says Caroline represents a new generation, fearless against Hollywood. CNN tries defending Carrie, writing, "Levitt went personal, Carrie stood for art," but the article gets little traction, mocked by MAGA on X. CNN's worse than Carrie. A neutral journalist tweets, "Whatever side you're on, Levitt redefined debate, short, sharp, Carrie, in a dim room," scrolls through memes and hashtags. He thinks of his comedy years, when audiences laughed with him, not at him. "Where did I go wrong?" he wonders, eyes on an unfinished painting. He types a new tweet but stops, hand hovering. Levitt in his mind looms as a shadow he can't erase. Levitt leaves the backstage, stepping into a car, streetlights glinting. She knows the fight's not over, but truth left its mark. X still buzzes, social media flooded with her image, MAGA calling her iconic. The media storm rages on after the clash at the American Pulse. Truth by Levitt rules X, Levitt's truth clip spreading across Instagram and TikTok, making her a MAGA icon. Meanwhile, Jim Carrey, with that lost look from the studio, faces a wave of mockery. Carrey meltdown still trends, memes flooding the net. Levitt back at the White House carries a victory not just for her, but for millions she represents. Kerry, in his hotel room, faces a reputation crisis. Hollywood's glow, now distant. Leavitt steps into the White House briefing room the next day, elegant in a pink dress instead of green, eyes sharp with a hint of pride. She stands at the podium, mic gleaming under lights, and declares, "Truth will always win, no matter the opponent." Her voice is calm but resonant, extending truth from the talk show. "We want to hear the people's voice," she says, "not just from this room, but from every corner of America." MAGA viewers watching via X explode. "Caroline's the future," Fox News reports. Levitt paves the way for Gen Z MAGA. The article spreads fast, solidifying her as a political star. On media, Levitt's the focal point. A MAGA fan paints Levitt at the podium, truth glowing around her, posting it on Instagram with, "The Queen has risen." Thousands of comments agree. Caroline silenced Hollywood. A fan group launches a Truth Matters campaign on X, urging Americans to share their truth stories. Truth Matters climbs to top trends with a post, "Caroline taught us one word can change everything." A young girl tweets, "I want to be like Caroline, strong, fearless." Laffett sees it, replying, "You've got that strength, use it." The tweet gets 1 million likes, drawing her closer to youth. Levitt gets an email from a student. "Miss Caroline, I saw you say truth and want to be a journalist. You're my role model." She smiles, replying, "Always seek truth, okay?" The small moment makes her feel a bigger mission, not just press secretary, but a spark for inspiration. In her mind, she thinks, truth didn't just beat Kerry, it's lighting up the nation. She leaves the briefing room, camera flashes glinting, but her eyes look far, seeing MAGA's future wide open. Kerry, meanwhile, sinks in crisis. He sits in his studio before an unfinished painting, a faint sketch of Trump, but this time he can't finish. He opens X, sees memes of him stammering, "Truth hits hard everywhere." A post reads, "Kerry was a legend, now a joke." He tries a small podcast, voice hoarse, "I'm not against the people, I just wanted to warn." But listeners don't buy it. X comments mock. "Warn what? Lev's truth is stronger." An old fan tweets, "Jim, go back to comedy, politics isn't your place." Kerry reads, eyes lost in space. In Kerry's mind, thoughts swirl chaotically. "I made the world laugh," he tells himself, recalling the mask days. "Why do they laugh at my failure now?" He thinks of Levitt, the young woman who turned truth into a blade, cutting through his glow. He types a tweet, "I still believe art can change. Maybe I need time." But MAGA comments flood. "Time won't save you." He deletes it, hands trembling, feeling the stage lights gone. He looks at the painting, thinking, maybe I went too far. A MAGA TikToker posts a video mimicking Kerry running hands through hair and stammering, "Truth, what's truth?" with "It Truth by Levitt." It spreads from X to Instagram, hitting 1 million views. Another meme appears, Levitt raising her hand, Kerry falling, text reading, "Hollywood vs. Truth, 01. Hollywood fans try to fight back, one posting, "Kerry got personally attacked, Levitt played unfair, but it's buried by MAGA's wave." Someone writing, "Unfair, truth is the fairest." X becomes a war zone, with Levitt leading. Media stays split. Fox News runs, "Levitt redefines politics with truth." A commentator says she showed Hollywood Americans won't be belittled. CNN counters, "Levitt used emotional tactics, Kerry stood for his view." But the article gets mocked by MAGA on X. CNN still defends Kerry, pathetic. A neutral journalist tweets, "Whatever side, Levitt's voice rises above." The post gets thousands of shares, boosting Levitt's influence. Levitt, back in her office, checks X. She sees the painting of her truth glowing and smiles. A text from Trump arrives. "Caroline, you made us proud." She replies, "Thank you, sir. Truth will lead." She thinks of Kerry, not with malice, but as a lesson. Arrogance can't beat truth. She opens her laptop, prepping for the next briefing, eyes blazing, ready for new challenges. The buzz from the American Pulse lingers, but Caroline Levitt's glow now radiates across media. Truth by Levitt and Truth Matters rule X. Her raised hand, truth, image a MAGA icon. From Instagram to TikTok, Levitt, after a stellar briefing, turned truth into a fire, igniting faith for millions of Americans. Meanwhile, Jim Carrey, in his dark studio, faces an unfinished painting and a shaky reputation. Hollywood's lights, a distant memory. Yet both, in their own way, seek a path forward after the fateful clash. Levitt stands in her White House office, dim lights hitting her desk, her phone glowing with hundreds of X notifications. She scrolls, seeing a fan post. "Caroline, you didn't just beat Carey, you showed us truth is stronger than anything." She smiles, replying, "Thanks. Always keep truth close." The post spreads fast, getting 1 million likes, cementing her as a Gen Z icon. She opens an email from a teacher. "Miss Levitt, my students are debating truth after your class. You inspired them." Levitt replies, "Teach them to trust truth." She thinks, "Truth isn't just a word, it's a bridge to the future." Carey craved lights, but truth is the eternal glow, she tells herself, recalling his lost look at the talk show. She doesn't see him as an enemy, but a lesson. Arrogance can't beat people's faith. She stands before a mirror, pink dress from the briefing still neat, eyes blazing. She whispers, "Truth will lead." She leaves the office, White House hallway lights glinting, signaling new challenges. X posts, "Caroline Levy, MAGA's future," with her briefing image, millions sharing, affirming she's not just press secretary, but a guiding flame. Carey thinks of Levitt not with anger, but as a formidable foe. "Truth," he mutters, a smile flickering. He knows he lost, not for lack of talent, but for picking the wrong stage. He types a final tweet, "America needs laughs, I'll try to bring them back." It gets supportive comments, "Welcome back, funny Jim." He turns off his phone, eyes distant, seeing a new stage's lights. Levitt steps to the briefing podium, camera flashes blazing. She says, "Truth is our strength." Cameras capture it, X explodes. Caroline leads. Carey, far away, watches the news, smiling faintly. He puts away his script, thinking, "She's right, but I've got my own light." Both in different ways, open futures, leave it with truth, Carey with laughs. X still buzzes, but questions linger. How will Levitt shape politics? Will Carey reclaim his laughter? Only time will tell. The story of Caroline Levitt versus Jim Carrey at the American Pulse deeply reflects the polarization in today's United States, where values, beliefs, and voices clash on public platforms like social media and news. Levitt, with truth, represents those defending their faith sharply, concisely, while Carey, with caricatures, shows how some use art to attack, but risk losing connection. The moment Levitt floored Carey with one word, igniting the studio and flooding X with truth, Truth by Levitt proves the power of simplicity and sincerity in communication. Conversely, Carey, though talented, faltered when his art was seen as arrogant, failing to touch people's hearts, as Carey meltdown memes mocked. The spread of truth on TikTok and Instagram, plus the Truth Matters campaign, shows how social media amplifies individual voices, but can bury others, like Carey, drowned by memes. The lesson? In a divided society, speak your truth with sincerity and respect, but don't let arrogance or attacks dim your message. Levitt won not just with truth, but by connecting with people, as a student's email showed her inspiring. Carey, though defeated, finds hope, recalling comedy's laughs, suggesting anyone can correct course by returning to core values. In today's America, listen like Levitt at briefings. Learn from Carey as he shelves his art, and use truth to build, not destroy. Subscribe and follow to discover more inspiring truth moments like Levitt's. Thanks for watching. See you in the next. The clash between Caroline Levitt and Jim Carrey reveals a profound lesson. Truth, spoken with sincerity, outshines arrogance and mockery. Levitt's victory shows that connecting authentically with people's values triumphs over divisive theatrics. Carey's misstep reminds us to wield influence responsibly, respecting others' beliefs. In life, this teaches us to communicate with honesty, not ego, fostering unity over conflict. By embracing truth, we inspire and uplift, as Levitt did for millions. Apply this by speaking thoughtfully and listening deeply. Thanks for watching. Comment your thoughts, subscribe, and share to join more inspiring stories illuminating truth's power.